Today we're talking about magnetism. And I'm going to do a quick introduction because you know that magnets stick to things. But when people in physics talk about magnets, we're more interested in the fact that they line things up. So here's a really, really big magnet. And this one's got a north pole on one side, it's got a south pole on the other side. I'm going to set this down on the table right here. And if I put a little steel ball on here, it sticks to it. But actually if I take a second steel ball and I put it right next to that, it'll actually, they stick to each other more than they stick to the magnet. I can lift them up and they come with me. And if I stick a third one, they all come off. They're sticking to each other like crazy. Not so much to the magnet, but when I let go, my three little steel balls stay lined up like that, which is kind of awesome. And what they're doing is they're lining up with the magnetic field. This magnet is making a field, and the lines of the field go straight out the top. And if I take this magnet and I turn it sideways, those steel balls will stay lined up out the side here. Well, I did in rehearsal. There it is. They're lined up. Oh gosh, get back here, you little scamps. There we go. So they're lined up, staying kind of like lined up out the side like so. And so the field is directed that way, and they're all nicely lined up. And we're going to be looking at a lot of things that have to do with the lining up. Now, one thing that lines up is there's little atomic magnets inside here because these are made out of steel. And steel's got a whole, it's made of iron. There's a whole bunch of little atomic magnets, and they all line up with that magnetic field. And next, we're going to go over, and who's talking about this, the paper clips? Is that a Maud thing? Over to Maud. Let's see what she's got to show us. She's got one of those big magnets.
Yep, so I've got one of these big magnets just like Brian, and we took like little push pins that also have a little, just a little metal part, and like Brian said, magnets line things up, and so if I put this right in the middle, she kind of floats and I can spin her around.
Ooh, it's dancing.
And this one's a little heavier, and if I put it over here, see how she just falls right over?
She wants to be center stage, Maud. Come on. That's what we all want.
There she goes.
Awesome, awesome.
And so I can get this on a smaller scale if I put a bunch of these pins here. I'm going to turn them over so I don't prick myself. But you can see that they're all kind of following, they're all pointing up and in different areas. If I move it one side of the magnet, they all start leaning over to one side. If I take it to the other, they just follow it. Back and forth.
Awesome, and so they're all lining themselves up with the field lines. Fantastic. And of course the classic thing to line up with field lines is iron filings. Now over to Brenna, who's going to do a little iron filing thing with us, and she's got a really big magnet, same the one that Maud and I have been using.
Yeah, so this magnet is really strong. It's the same one Brian used when he started. But one thing that we can do is we can actually see sort of how the field works by just taking some iron filings and pouring them on a flat paper plate. So if you look, you can see them move back and forth, and if I put them on there, the ones in the middle stand up because they're magnetized by the pole, and the other ones want to move to the side.
And we're going to go ahead and put it right back in the center there, and let's see, look at those things standing up, and they're just piling up and making a little spire, and that little spire is all lined up with the magnetic field. And if you take that away, if you move it slowly away from the magnet, there it is. Oh my gosh, you're making them lie down. What? And then you bring them back, and they all stand back up again. And you can see they're just following the field until they get to the edge of the magnet. And at the edge of the magnet, they're lying down. So Brenna, go ahead and take it and put them back in the center. Let's get them all standing up. There we go. And now move them. If you get a whole bunch of iron filings in one spot, and we do a top view, we can see it looks dark and light. And that's something that's going to be important for one of the technologies we talk about. So if we have a whole bunch of magnetic iron filings standing up in the center, I get kind of a dark look. I'm seeing the top of these spires. Perfect. And then if you move it to the side of the magnet, they all lie down, changes its appearance, Bring it back to the center. and they all stand back up again, and they're all just following the magnetic field. And we have some paper that works like that that is going to let us see the magnetic field lines from different magnets. And I think Maud is going to show us the magnet view paper.
Yep, all right, so here I have this little sheet of just kind of like green magnet view paper to show you what it does. I've got my magnet that's sticking to the table, and if I lay this on top of it, you've got this really big dark outline of where the magnet is.
All right, Ma, just hang on a second while Patrick gets in place. And there's that, we're seeing the north pole of that magnet. That is fantastic. And it's dark because all the little pieces of iron there are standing up. Perfect.
And then if you've got a laptop at home or something like that.
We're going to do that later.
Oh, okay.
We're going to do that later. But show us other magnets. You got other magnets there probably. Or you could show the edge of this one.
Yeah.
Let's see what the edge looks like. Oh, and there's a white line, and in the white line, they are lined up with the magnetic field. They're lying down because the magnetic field lines go from one side to the other. And let's take a look at different kinds of magnets. Who's got another kind of magnet that we could use? Here's a little donut magnet from Brenna. I'm going to throw this in. There we go. And if we look at the donut magnet, let's go ahead and look at the top of it. And we can see we got the little donut image there, and I get white on the edges. So white on the edges is where the field is changing, and it's dark on the pole. That's where the field is really strong. And if you look at the edge, turn the donut up on edge and look at that. Excellent. We can see that's the place where the field is switching. That is a perfect thing. And now, let's go over to Brenna, and Brenna has got some magnetic liquid. Solids can be liquids, but magnets can too. And Maud, I'm going to get that magnet back from you. All right, Brenna.
All right, so I have this fluid in here. It's called ferrofluid. And ferrofluid is kind of cool because it can be magnetized when you bring it in contact with a magnet. So I have two different magnets here. I have a little ceramic magnet, and if I bring it close, you can see it kind of forms these big spears. And that's because the individual cells become magnetized and then they repel each other. So each little group is a little magnet and it's repelling all the other pieces. Now if I bring it in contact with this neodymium magnet, you can see that the cells are smaller, and this is a stronger magnet. So it's going to make more cells because it's going to magnetize more of the little particles. But it's just kind of cool to play with. We say in Little Shop that this should have been used in the movie Venom instead of whatever they used. So, yeah.
All right, we have a question here and says, Sienna Scientist asks, where do you buy these things? Just at a store. And here's where you get this stuff. The big magnets, we got these on Amazon. Actually, we just did a big ceramic magnet. It's a 4-inch by 6-inch ceramic magnet, and it's magnetized through this axis. And the little ferrofluid cell that Brennan was showing, we got that on the internet too. We just did a search for ferrofluid display cell. And we're going to go ahead and put this stuff in the chat so that you can do that. And Maud had some magnet view paper, and we just got that online too. If you look for magnet view paper, same store, you can get any of the stuff. And the iron filings, we'll show you how to get iron filings. You don't have to buy those. You can harvest those, and that's a piece we'll come and talk about later. Now, when you put something in a strong magnetic field, it lines up all the atomic magnets. And you can use that to magnetize something. But if you can magnetize something, by ordering it, if you disorder it, you can demagnetize it. And Maud is going to show us how this works.
Yep. So here I've got just my trusty old big flat magnet, and I've just got a nail here. And what you can do is you can make a magnet basically by magnetizing this. And what I'm going to do to magnetize the nail, I'm just going to drop it repeatedly on the magnet. And what this is doing is that it's ordering all of the atoms so that they can be just, the more order there is, the more magnetized it can be. And to see if it works, I've got a little paper clip here. Let's see if I can pick it up. And I can.
All right, the nail is magnetized. I would say pick it up gently. Go ahead and try that again, and just pick it up slowly and show us that it's magnetized. Awesome, there it is.
Yeah.
There, oh, your paper
There's a stronger magnet, yeah.
So you made it by basically vibrating it and putting it in a strong magnetic field, and that is how you can magnetize something which is magnetic. But you ordered it. You can also disorder it, Maud. What would you do to disorder it? Dropping it on the table, and then you're just basically taking those things and disordering them, and now Maud brings the nail in, puts it near the paper clip, and what happens is
nothing.
So you can drop a magnet by breaking it. You actually broke magnetism, Maud, you scamp.
I'm sorry.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Now, another thing we're going to look at is the fact that there's a connection between magnetism and electricity. And actually, the electricity that you've used in your life was generated by having magnets move in the vicinity of a coil of wire, and it's going to induce a current. Maud has got a little generator that we made here in Little Shop of Physics from an everyday object.
I'm not Maud.
Sorry, I was looking straight at you, and you said Brenna on your forehead.
I'm not Maud.
Oh, you're pretty Maud, but
oh, okay.
I can use that as an adjective.
All right, so here I have a salad spinner, and inside this salad spinner there are a bunch of different neodymium magnets. And when we have a change in magnetic field, it actually can create a current, which can light up these two little lights right here. So if I spin the salad spinner, you can see that my lights light up. This is a coil of wire here. So the magnetic field is actually inducing a current in that wire, which is pretty cool.
Awesome, and it's flipping red and blue. I can see it flipping back between the two, and the current goes one way and lights the red light, and it goes the other way and lights the blue. And go ahead and spin that up again, and let's keep taking a look at that. If you bring it close, I'm getting a large change in the magnetic field. There's going red, blue, red, blue, red, blue. And then if you move it away, the magnetic field gets weaker. Oh my gosh, no more light. No more light. Oh, there it is, coming in close, and then coming far away. If you go farther away, no more magnetic field, you don't get that. So the effect is coming from the magnetic field. There's no electrical connection between the lights and the salad spinner. That's a salad spinner generator. We have a little video on the Little Shop of Physics website that shows how to build that if you want to make such a thing. But not only is that a connection between magnetism and electricity, we've got one more. Maud has got a light bulb with a straight filament in it, and she's going to put it next to a big magnet. Let's see what happens.
Alrighty, so I've got the same magnet, and this is just going to be another way that magnetism can affect electricity. I can just make...
We probably have to come in close on that to be able to see what the filament's doing. And I think you can stay where you are, Maud. Okay. Patrick is zooming in. And the little light bulb filament is dancing around. Let's see it. Okay, bring that magnet in close and look at that thing. Look at that thing dance. There it is. And so what's happening is the magnet is making a force on the electric current in the wire, and it's making that little light bulb filament dance. And if you can find an incandescent light bulb and a strong magnet, you can do this too. And it actually makes a little bit of a noise. Awesome. And we are putting the pressure on Patrick to keep the brightness and the contrast right on that. And then Maud is going to show us how to make the simplest motor in the... Sorry,
I am not Maud.
My Maud compatriot, who is named Brenna, is going to be showing us a way that you can make the simplest possible electric motor in the world.
You know, my little cousins are on there, and they're probably screaming at you right now for getting my name wrong.
And if Brenna's cousins are on here, I apologize to Brenna's cousins. I'm sorry.
All right, so this is an easy motor that you can make at home. So right here I just have a washer, I have a neodymium magnet, and then I have a battery. And if we take a wire and we connect the end of the battery to the magnet, oh, maybe my battery's dead. Oh, there we go. Oh, the little heart spins.
Close on that. We gotta see. Oh, that's a little spinning heart magnet.
How
spinning
cute.
Heart motor, which is kind of awesome. And so the magnet is making a force on the current in the wire, and we're basically making a motor.
And now, if you guys want to do this at home, you totally can. You can buy little neodymium magnets at Hobby Lobby or somewhere else. And if you take a nail and you attach it to your battery here, and then you take a wire, you connect one end to your battery, you can see it starts to spin.
Oh my gosh, look at that thing spin. And that is like the simplest possible electric motor you can make. That is awesome. Look at it go. Fantastic. So that's a little bit about the connection between magnetism and electricity. And now we're going to actually change up the things on either side of me is changing up. And we're going to do our next segment. Our next segment is like magnets basically in your life. I'm going to start by bringing in this old school device right here. Now you know what this is. This is an old tape player. And old cassette tape players played music that was stored in magnetic fields of iron inside this little polyester tape. So if I take this tape and I put it over the reed head and I move it back and forth, I think this is actually a David Bowie album I took apart. We get the sounds out of that. But there's other things that store information magnetically. Here's my RAM card for CSU. And on the back of it, there's this little dark strip. Well, that little dark strip, it's made out of magnetic material. There's magnetic information stored there. And if I take my RAM card and I put it on my reed head, oh yeah, that's where the information is, right there. So you all can steal my identity now. And whenever you put your card in a device where you swipe it, that's what you're doing. You're taking it, and you're basically reading the magnetic fields off of it. That is an awesome, awesome thing. So that's one place magnetism shows up in your life. But we're going to show you some others. I'm going to ask Emma to hand me that piece of Magnet View paper that's right in front of her. Perfect. Thank you very much. And then right here, I have my iPad. Now this iPad has a so-called smart cover. When I open it up, the screen turns on. And when I close it, the screen turns off. Now, how does the iPad know to turn off? The reason it knows to turn off is that there's magnets inside the cover. I'm going to take my Magnet View paper and put it on the cover, and you can see it's showing some magnets in the cover. These ones right here basically hold the cover shut. But these two here are sensed by my iPad. When the cover's closed, the iPad senses that magnetic field and it knows to turn off. So I'm going to bring my iPad like so, put it in the screen, and bring my big magnet up. And don't do this. Do not do this. But when I take my iPad and I turn the screen back on, bring my magnet near it, it'll make the screen turn off. And I take it away, and the screen turns back on. Cover closed, cover on. And so it's actually sensing the magnetic field. And it's actually pretty fun to take this thing and put it on different electric devices. If I put it on my iPad, I can see I get a couple little magnet things happening here. Those are speakers. And speakers have magnets in them. So I can see where the speakers are, which is awesome. I got speakers, I got magnets in the cover. I figure inside my iPad and my case, I got about 20 magnets. I got about 20 magnets in here, which is fantastic. That's a little bit about magnetism in your world. And who's going to go first? We got some new people. We got Sheila over here on my one side. Awesome. And we're Sheila, her microphone. By the way, microphones too also use magnetism. There is Sheila saying hi to us.
Hello. Nice to be
over
here.
We got Emma on the other side. And so Emma as well. And Emma has been with us before. She did the awesome thing with her fingernails last week. Sheila is the teacher in residence with Little Shop of Physics, and Emma is a future teacher. And we are going to do some more things with magnetism in your world. And Sheila's got an old school television set right there. Let's see what's going on with that.
And as Brian said, it is old school. You probably don't have one of these around there, but we've modified the screen a little bit. And I'm going to put a magnet on it. First, I'll just do one of the poles. Don't know if it's north or south.
Oh my gosh, and you're making rainbows.
They are. And then I can turn it sideways with both poles. I don't know if that looks like a butterfly or not.
It does look like a butterfly, and I would hold it there and I would turn it slowly so we can see the awesome, awesome pattern. You get a butterfly pattern, and it's actually showing the pattern of the magnetic field lines from the magnet.
And this is, all I'm doing is when I draw on this, I'm drawing with a stream of electrons. And the electrons, sorry, I had a moment of thought. The magnetic field pushes those electrons around, and that's how we get the colors.
So this is an old television. It paints the picture on the screen with a beam of electrons. And the magnet pushes those electrons around. And when you push those electrons around, they hit different spots, make different colors. So if you can find one of those, and we buy them at garage sales, you can make rainbows on the screen. Don't try that with any other kind of television. But the old ones, the people just give them to us. You can make little rainbows on the screen. And now, the classic thing that everybody knows about magnets. Magnets stick to refrigerators. And we're over to Emma. Who's going to do some refrigerator magnet stuff with us. Awesome, you've decorated this refrigerator magnet.
I did, I decorated this refrigerator magnet, but this right here is like a piece of metal that's very similar to your refrigerator, which is why that the refrigerator magnets are sticking to it right now. But you'll see that if I turn the magnet around, it doesn't stick.
Folks could try that at home, right? Take your refrigerator magnets, put them on the wrong way, no sticky.
But if I turn it the right way, it sticks perfectly. And you can see if I use the magnetism paper on it.
Let's let Patrick get a good close-up of that. Oh yeah, I'm seeing my Magneview paper coming into focus there.
You can see that the magnetic field here forms lines across. But if I take this one,
hang on, hold it there just a second. Let's let Patrick get nice and close so we get a good. There's our view of our little. You see the little stripes? Those little stripes are showing you the poles of the magnet, and that's on the brown side of the refrigerator magnet.
but if I compare it to the white side, you can see I just put this magnet underneath the paper, but there's no lines that you can see.
So all the magnetic field is on the brown side.
Right. So all the magnetic field is coming out of the brown side, but not the white side, the decorated side. So you can see if I put the magnets together like this way, I can slide them really easily. But if I try to put them this way, they make a noise.
Oh my gosh. That is awesome. And folks could try this themselves. Like if people wanted to do it, show them what they have to do. You want, how many magnets do you need?
2.
2 refrigerator magnets.
2.
And put them brown face to brown face. And if you slide them one way, they slide easy. And if you slide them the other way, they don't slide so easy. You get this bit of a buzzing thing going on. Awesome. Oh, by the way, and someone has written and said their fridge is not magnetic. This is a thing too. Stainless steel, which a lot of modern appliances are made of, is not magnetic. We have old school appliances in the Little Shop of Physics, so ours are made of just plain old steel, and they are magnetic. By the way, some stainless steel is, some isn't, some isn't. Now, if people want to get things which are magnetic, you can buy iron filings on the internet, but you don't have to go to the internet to buy iron filings. Sheila's going to show us where else we can find them.
In your cupboards. It turns out that, like this cereal has, let's see, 100% daily value of vitamins and minerals. And something I didn't know for a while is that when they fortify it with iron, it becomes magnetic. So I have a bowl of cereal here, but I thought it would be easier to mine for the iron here. I also have a strong neodymium magnet on this stick. So bear with me as I do this.
So when they put iron in your cereal, they literally put iron in your cereal. There are iron filings in your iron fortified cereal, and there's Sheila is kind of like taking a magnet on the end of a stick, smashing it around in the cereal.
It takes a while
It takes a
to
while.
get it all. Those of you that like mushy cereal, you
There you
could
go.
add
You were
milk
good to
after
go.
that. Oh, I'm starting to get a little bit on there.
There we go, and let's go ahead and take a look at the tip. And if you look at the tip, you can see, yeah, Sheila's actually piled up a certain amount of iron. There's little chunks of iron inside the cereal. So Sheila's going to hold that real close. Patrick's coming in. Those are little chunks of iron inside the cereal. So your iron fortified cereal is literally fortified with iron, which is fantastic. But wait, you don't have to go to the cupboard. You can also go outside. And Emma has got something to show us.
Yeah, okay, so here I have a plate of sand. It's just normal sand. It's from the Poudre River, and a magnet, the same magnet that Sheila was using over there. And if I put the magnet underneath the plate and start moving it around, you can kind of see that it's starting to pick up the iron that's in the sand. And if I move it around enough, you can see that a clump of iron has formed there.
And that's just sand from the Poudre River. This is local Fort Collins sand right here. There's nothing, this is not like some special sand from other places. We have a lot of iron in our sand. We have a lot of iron in our sand. And so I would say, get a strong magnet and go try this in your backyard. Get a real strong magnet, take it out to the backyard. You will find iron filings. We found them every place we've ever been. But wait a minute, you don't have, if you have money, you don't have to buy something magnetic. You can actually
use some money. It's great. It turns out that money, dollar bills, or $20 bills, or $50 bills, which I don't see many times, the money is magnetic, and not just it's not the paper, but it's the ink on the sides of the money. And I think that may be to help them decide whether a bill is counterfeit or not.
That's right. So if you folks are going to try to print dollar bills at home, which of course you should not do, make sure you use ink that is magnetic, or people will find you out. And you can do that really strong magnet, and it will stick to the inky bits.
I'd try coins too.
Oh, coins.
Foreign coins.
Foreign
that might be
coins
really
would work.
interesting.
Now, another thing that uses magnetism that you might not think about is some musical instruments. And Emma has got one that uses magnets to make sound. Emma, take it away.
Yeah, okay, so here I have an electric guitar, and it's just hooked up to an amp here. And this right here has a bunch of magnets, and the strings are made out of steel. So when the strings vibrate, it creates a magnetic field, and the sound comes out the speaker here.
So it's working like a generator. It's like the thing with the salad spinner, but what's making the field is not the spinning of the magnets, it's the vibrating of the strings.
Right. So if I put a different kind of motor near the magnets, in this case a fan here,
whoa. And we know that motors use magnetic fields to make the motion. And so you've got a magnetic field turning on and off. And let's do that one more time. Let's bring that fan up next to the strings. Oh yeah, and if the guitar pickup is picking up the magnetic field from the motor. Awesome.
I also have a little car here. It's the same deal. It's also a motor, but if I turn the car on,
Awesome. And so we are hearing the changing currents inside the motor that make the motor go. That is fantastic. Now, electric guitars work the way they do because they've got steel strings and they use magnets in their pickups. But Sheila's got a pickup from an electric guitar hooked up to an amplifier.
I do, and I better turn on
and you can make other kinds of musical instruments.
Whoa. TV?
Let's get the TV away from the TV. Yeah, I'm going to take this little TV out of your way here.
Thank you. Oh, that's much better. All right, it turns out that you can try out some things at home as long as they are magnetic. That means they're attracted to the magnet. So I have a spike here, and I'm holding it up with a rubber band, and I'm going to have it right down here and, whoops, not close to the pickup.
And what I would do, Sheila, is I would hold the pickup so that it goes vertically.
All right.
So that
just
it's
like
next
that?
to the, hold
Okay.
it like that so that it's, there we go. And hold it a little bit closer. the pickup a little bit closer to the nail, and Sheila's going to
I'm of the
vibrate the
rubber
nail,
band.
and this is just the guitar pickup. And I would say crank your amp up all the way. Let's get that loud. I think you turned it down before when you're getting feedback. Crank up the amp. And crank up all the dials, all the way, all 3 of them. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take it a little bit farther away.
Oh,
Go
you're
try that
making it
again.
even louder?
All right, and we're getting the electric gutter spike, which is a new musical instrument we're pioneering in Little Shop of Physics. But wait, there's more.
There is more. I have a little music box, and it's so cool because you can see the inner workings of it, but it's hard to hear. But if I put it next to the guitar pickup,
And go ahead and put it right on top of it.
oh, thank you for the permission. Much nicer. I like that. When these magnetic materials vibrate, they change the magnetic field, and so that's how you can hear them, right, Brian?
Absolutely, and anything made out of steel or iron, and if you can vibrate it, if you put it near a guitar pickup, you can turn it electric. So we made the electric music box, we made the electric gutter spike, but wait a minute, there's one
Oh,
more.
there's more. I have a tiny little slinky here, and I'm going to put it on the guitar pickup, and then I'm going to just,
And there's the electric slinky. And Sheila, I'm going to say support that slinky a little bit with your fingers where it's touching the coil, okay? Like where the slinky is actually touching the coil, go ahead and support it a little bit. So
oh, okay.
Awesome, awesome. So the magnetic steel in the slinky gives you the electric slinky effect. Now, you can use magnetism to make music, but you can also use it to play music. And it turns out most speakers, which actually make the sound on stereos or on your laptop or whatever, use magnets. And Emma has got a little speaker that we took apart, and she's going to show us what's inside.
Yeah, so I'm basically making a speaker right now. This is another amp, kind of like the one that I used for the guitar. I have a really strong magnet, and this has a little wire in it. And if I put the wire on the magnet and then take this little funnel type thing, that's just going to help the sound move. Place it on top, and then play some music off of Sheila's phone.
And now what I'd like to do, actually, Emma, is take that speaker and put it where we can get a good look at it. We're going to take it apart as it's playing the music, okay? So Patrick is now, I think there we go. And if we take off that changes the sound. Now, let's go ahead and close up on that coil. We're listening for the music, we're hearing the music. And Emma, put your hand on that little cone. You can feel it vibrating. On the little brown, yeah, you can feel it vibrating. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's what's making the music. And if you take that away from the cone, go ahead and pick up that little plastic coil, no more music, no more music. And so it's the interaction between the currents in the wire and the magnetic field that make the music. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you are listening to us right now using magnetism. And we have a grand finale for the Magnetism show that is the ultimate interaction of electricity and magnetism. And I got a giant chunk of copper here. And I've got a really, really strong magnet. And if I take this chunk of a magnet and I drop it on the copper, you would think it's going to clank. But it doesn't. It lands ever so softly. And there's a magnetic braking effect that happens between the copper, and the copper is not magnetic, but it's a very good electrical conductor. And if I spin it, it kind of like slowly grinds down there. And if I take this and tip it up, like so, I'm going to take this chunk of copper and tip it vertically. And I take the magnet and put it up here. What it'll do is it'll slowly work its way down and then fall off and hit the table. Awesome, here we go. Slow, slow, slow tumble. And you use this magnetic brake in a lot of different systems. If you've ever been to the Tower of Doom at Elish Gardens, that's how it stops when it gets to the bottom. It's a little magnetic brake. And so that's another place where magnets are in the world around you. Awesome. Now this show was light on things you could try at home, but we did tell you where you could get the pieces. And you can certainly use a strong magnet to find iron in cereal. You can find iron in sand. If you have an electric guitar, you can use it to pick up magnetic fields. There's a bunch of stuff to try at home, but next week we're going to be back with another show, and every single thing we do is something you can try at home. We're going to do oscillations, so things that vibrate, and also waves. So I'm going to be back with the LSOP Live team, and before we go, I want to say thank you to everybody who participated, and so we're going to zoom in on everybody. There's Sheila. Sheila's going to wave. Good.
Bye.
Sheila's saying goodbye, and we're over to Emma is going to wave goodbye.
Bye.
Teacher and future teacher. And behind us we've got Brenna, masked up, awesome. Another future teacher, and Maud. I'm going to call you Brenna. And Brenna number 2. Awesome, because I called Brenna Maud. Fantastic. And then we've got 250 plus families out there watching us. Be back next week for another episode of Little Shop of Physics Live, and send us your ideas, your comments, your suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.